Dangerous Men was by far the most effective thing to use with guys.
Dangerous Men just brought a whole different perspective to just exactly what I was dealing with at that time in my life.
The reason Dangerous Men was so effective is because it could reach a variety of men.
Definitely takes some real balls to run a Dangerous Men's program, because it's something where guys are being invited into this thing, and you have to be really vulnerable and being willing to do that for Dangerous Men to actually to really flourish.
It brought me into this group where I was like, all right, I'm surrounded by guys that are going after something, what's going on here, and then just talking about the reality of what is actually going on in our lives, and let's just discuss it. And that's something that I had never been exposed to ever before in my life, just guys being totally vulnerable and honest.
It was a really good introduction to the gospel, because it was able to put a lot of terms and things that kind of get overused in Christianity, like God's love and you're God's son. It puts them in a new light where it makes really good sense.
It was the most freeing thing I had ever experienced before.
I think the honesty and the vulnerability that you have to bring into a Dangerous Men's group really breaks down that barrier between guys and opens up this whole new world and this sense of brotherhood, because you're not in the fight alone.
It's kind of a lot easier to get guys involved all over the country, just because they're able to take that first step with Dangerous Men and start getting free.
That's kind of what you get when in a lot of Dangerous Men environments, and actually in SPO afterwards we walk in a room of guys and they're just there to be themselves, and it was super freeing.
I think millennials respond well to authenticity, and Dangerous Men hits that right in the head. And we saw guys just getting that authenticity part of it, and actually guys still in serious sin, sleeping with girls every weekend, coming and being open and honest in these sessions because they knew they wanted to be free of it, they just didn't know how. And Dangerous Men was the first time they heard Jesus' message proclaimed in a way that actually captured their hearts.
It's got some attitude to it. It's not flat, it's not bland, it's not boring. It's got a personality and an attitude that's attractive to, I think, all men, and especially these kind of rougher guys. So
It could reach the guys that were out getting hammered every weekend, but then it could also reach the guys that are going to church. The guys who aren't being reached are finally being reached, like the frat bros. You got sports guys, or just average guys who just want to party.
I think Dangerous Men does actually get more of those guys in the door, because instead of saying, hey, do you want to come to my Bible study, it's just, do you want to come and talk about getting free? Do you want to come and talk about identity? And you have some specific things to invite them into that aren't off-putting. Second, there's a language around it that's everyday language, and I think some of these guys connect with that.
It's attractive to a different kind of man, and I know that was something for me personally. I'm very turned off by a Bible study. That just doesn't sound like something at the beginning in my past that I would want to do, or that I would really come around to.
I had that attraction to it. I was just I was drawn to the freedom that these guys were showing through just not living a sinful lifestyle, but were yet free and happy. They were having a good time. They're being men.
A lot of guys who've gone through Dangerous Men with, the first thing they say is they love that they can talk about it with someone. They love that they can talk about jerking off or having sex with girls or partying and the drinking, and just the emptiness.
I think it's well worth it, because lust is one of those things that just cripples men, and oftentimes finding freedom from lust is the gateway to a flourishing spiritual life for a man.
Really, the best way to find that out, I think, is to try it out yourself. Join a Dangerous Men's group, see how it is for you. Go through yourselves. You're not gonna teach this and show this to somebody else if you haven't been taught it yourself.
Why wouldn't you run it? It makes common sense why to run it. I mean, you get guys talking about shit they never talk about. do you want to just hide in your hole and keep saying sexual immorality or talk about purity? Do you really want to start talking about masturbation, or having sex with girls, or even drinking? Really want to get to these things and get men talking about it and start learning how to fight spiritually. Get these guys to learn how to fight spiritually. And then do you want your men to be able to go through the steps to freedom, close off all the gates Satan has on their lives, and to close those off and to start getting them more free, and so that Satan doesn't have big of an influence in their lives? I mean, what organization wouldn't want that for their men?
If you find a program or a book or a workbook that's better for getting guys who have no faith and no real direction in their life to being sold out for the Lord and having direction and purpose and a renewal of identity, I'd love to see it. But to this point, I haven't found one.